somewhere far beyond the gravitational pull of our Sun, past the orbits of Neptune and Pluto, past even the frozen shell of the heliopause where the solar wind gives up its final breath, the lonely probe continues its silent odyssey. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, was never supposed to live this long. It was never supposed to reach this far. And yet, nearly half a century later, it moves onward, gliding deeper into the interstellar abyss. No human eye has seen what Voyager 2 sees now. And perhaps none ever will. But recently, something changed. Among the routine telemetry and fading radiation readings, Voyager sent back something else. Something unexpected. Something impossible. An image. It wasn't supposed to be able to take one. Not this far out. Not with hardware designed in the era of rotary phones. And yet, the probe captured a final image. A frame that has shattered the scientific calm with quiet, terrifying precision. Because what that image showed was order. In the vacuum of deep space, where chaos rules and randomness is king, it showed a structure. Angular. Symmetrical, undeniably intelligent in its design. It wasn't a comet. It wasn't a star. It wasn't plasma or gas or dust. It was geometry. Cold, deliberate, mathematical. Like something had been waiting there all along. The probe didn't stumble across it by accident. The anomaly was seen from multiple angles, on different sensors, across different times. Its position relative to Voyager never changed. It wasn't drifting. It was stationed. Or worse, tracking. The moment NASA's analysis team received the data, protocols were activated. Internal memos were encrypted. Teams were split. A quantum AI was brought in to study the patterns too subtle for human minds to decode. And what it uncovered sent a wave of dread through the room. Within the visual data were sequences, layered like threads in a cosmic tapestry. Fibonacci spirals. Prime number intervals. Golden ratios. All echoing the precise mathematical fingerprints encoded onto Voyager's own golden record, the symbolic key we once sent out as a universal language. It was more than a signal. It was a reflection. As if something out there had not only received our greeting, but learned from it. And then built a response. Using our own logic. Our own code. Waiting, perhaps, for the day we'd evolve enough to understand. That day has come. Some believe Voyager didn't discover something new, but triggered something old. Something buried beyond the fabric of known physics, invisible until observed. Like a switch hidden in space itself, waiting for a curious eye. And when we looked too closely, it looked back. The object began to change the moment it was scanned. Slightly. Subtly. But unmistakably. In ways no known material in the universe should. It reacted, not to touch, not to force, but to attention. As if the mere act of watching was enough to disturb it. Quantum physicists compared the behavior to the famous double-slit experiment, where particles behave differently when observed. But this was no particle. It was a colossal structure, potentially kilometers wide. And yet, it acted like a particle. It obeyed, or defied, the laws of physics in a way that suggested more than coincidence. It suggested intention. Responsive, intelligent, possibly aware. In that instant, the framework of classical physics crumbled. Voyager hadn't just reached a new sector of space, it had trespassed into a domain where the laws of reality themselves appear rewritten. Beyond the heliopause we expected frozen silence. An endless, barren drift. But what Voyager found was not silence. It was a design. Theorists began proposing alarming new models. Space in this region, this strange, cold interstellar frontier, might behave more like a medium than a vacuum. A viscous, semi-conscious layer between realities. Space becomes dense, almost elastic. Time dilates. Gravity hiccups. Magnetic fields oscillate in rhythms that suggest something more than natural processes. Something controlled. Some believe Voyager had entered a chamber. Not a physical one, but an engineered region. A pocket of distorted spacetime sculpted for a purpose. Was it a container? A sentinel zone? A sensor? Or was it a message disguised as an environment, an architectural riddle written in geometry, frequency, and time? The shape Voyager saw defied expectations. It reflected no light. It cast no shadow. And yet, it wasn't invisible. It absorbed frequencies, very specific ones. It altered magnetic fields around itself in slow, deliberate pulses. Like a cosmic pendulum. Like a pulse. Like a heartbeat. These pulses weren't random. They were measured. Recurring. They mirrored the same mathematical ratios encoded into the Voyager Golden Record, Fibonacci sequences, prime intervals, harmonic resonances. It was the same code we used to announce ourselves to the universe. And now, that code was pulsing back at us. We thought we were sending music into the void. But maybe we were activating a lock. And now, something, has turned the key. The response inside NASA was swift, coordinated, and quiet. The raw data feed from Voyager was immediately rerouted to secure quantum analysis hubs. Encryption protocols were elevated. Scientists were instructed to maintain absolute discretion. Some were even reassigned, others removed altogether. Something had shifted. This wasn't simply a scientific curiosity anymore. This was now a matter of cosmic security. Because once you make contact, you can't undo it. Across scientific institutions, fractures began to appear. Astrophysicists clung to more familiar theories, gravitational mirages, unknown interactions in deep magnetic fields. They weren't looking at noise. They were looking at a language. The structure Voyager observed matched models for higher dimensional projections. Think of a 3D object casting a 2D shadow. What Voyager captured may have been the shadow of a fourth or fifth dimensional entity intersecting with our three-dimensional universe. Not an object, a slice, a glyph. Some called it a beacon. Others, a trap. And still others dared to call it something stranger, a mirror. Not a mirror of light, but of logic. A quantum surface capable of reflecting back the exact structure of thought, intent, and perception projected onto it. Like an adaptive interface between minds and dimensions. And in that mirror, Voyager saw us. Because the image it returned wasn't just complex, it was familiar. Too familiar. Too perfect. Like it had been composed from our own knowledge, our own symbols, our own ways of understanding reality. As if the observer had been anticipated. What if Voyager's signal didn't discover anything new? What if it activated a feedback loop? A kind of cosmic handshake, where the universe didn't just acknowledge our message, it completed it. And now, something is watching. Some within NASA believe the pulses Voyager detected aren't communications at all, but calibrations. A slow convergence. A synchronization between two systems, ours and theirs. A countdown? Maybe. A test? Possibly. An opening? We don't know yet. Not yet. And still, we understood it. Or at least, enough of it to be noticed. That's the danger of curiosity. The danger of listening to the void. Eventually, something listens back. And when it does, you can't pretend it didn't happen. What comes next is beyond prediction. A second message? A visitation? Silence? Or something slower, subtler, like a shift in cosmic conditions. A turning of the tide. As if the universe just turned its eyes toward Earth for the very first time. And now, it waits. Voyager's journey is almost over. Its power reserves are dwindling. Its systems are falling into sleep. But what it's awakened, out there in the dark, may just be beginning. The sky is no longer quiet. The silence has been broken. Because the next transmission may not come from Earth. And what's waiting out there, may already be looking back.